Hello and welcome to Coffee and Bonsai with Tom. Today we're working on tree 5 of my series in this wonderful pot here. You can see it's a little brown simple pot. I actually call this tree dog bowl because, well, it's not my favorite pot actually. It's very simple. Kind of looks like a dog bowl to me, but it is indeed a bonsai pot, and my apologies if anyone out there recognizes this as its creation is handmade and had a chop on the bottom. And it's it functions perfectly well. It's just not my stylistic choice. So as I said, this is the fifth tree in this series. You can look back. I'll put a link in the video description for more detail about these trees in the first video called Tree 1/6. But this is tree number 5, and you can see, it's got a general pleasing shape here, and I think it has a few issues with the trunk and some things that I want to fix on it. Uh, but it's growing well, and I think it's ready to take to the next level. And so here we go with tree number 5. So as with the other trees, I haven't really done much of any pruning on this other than initial pruning just to get it under control and get it on the shelves. So I want to start off, I'm just going to take this nub off here. I was kind of hoping to get some growth there, but I don't think we need it, and so I'm just going to cut that off. And I like to go nice and flush, and before you know it, you'll never even see that this cut was done. And I'll also smooth this out. The same thing I found you can, if you leave green out there, you can kind of carve pretty close and almost put some taper on a branch, and it works pretty well. And yeah, let's take a look at this and see what we want to do next. So you can see we've got some long growth here. I really let this thing just run a little bit to make sure that I, had some good roots. I wanted to be good and strong for its next phase of development. And I think I mentioned this in a previous video. I'm going to prune this guy up, do some structural pruning on it, like clean up stuff like I'm doing here, just to, take off the rough edges and, get it more, growing in the style that I want, right? I haven't really done much styling at all to this, so I sort of want to put some lines in the sand and kind of get the tree moving in the style that I want. And as I look at it, you can see it has a lot of branches here, but it's kind of confusing. It's sort of more like a shrub or a bush now, and I really want to clean up the lines on this tree and give it a stylistic shape. But I think I'll just start off by just cutting back the branches. No matter what I do to this tree, I definitely want more ramification closer in. And so it's easy just to start and, cut things back to a couple sets of leaves and get rid of anything growing to the inside of the trunk. And, this is growing pretty well in general. Most of the growth is kind of coming up and out, which is exactly what we want. So I just want to make it more compact. And while I'm doing that, take a look at some potential branch selection and things that I want to do to simplify this design. Apologize for my voice, by the way. A few viewers have commented on it. I've been battling this cold. I don't know if it's allergies or what, but I'm just going to shorten this back. So I know my voice is a little Lauren Bacallish, for the lack of a better description, and kind of lower, maybe an octave or two lower than it normally is, but I will be back to normal soon enough, I'm quite sure. So just shortening it up, you can see it already looks a little better. We're kind of bringing in more compact, and I generally like to do this because it really helps me to see, what step that I want to take next with the tree. And while I'm simplifying this, I'll just, several folks have asked me, because I mentioned that, I had these trees, over a year and a half just recovering, right? And so to describe that, And so basically, I bought these on, I think, Facebook Marketplace, and I got a box of probably a dozen portulacaria, much like this. Most of them were variegated, a couple weren't. And I think I paid $75 for it. For trunks like this, it's a gold mine. I'm thinking about taking this out. as I'm rambling on about the background on these trees. So anyway, I got them, and they were bare root, and some had been hacked back, and they had been in the sun, and I mean, any other tree I would have been horrified, and I actually was a bit horrified because I didn't know much about portulacaria Afra at the time, really, and so I did some research, and I just kind of put them in soil, really free draining soil, and just let them sit, for I'm saying months and months before anything really happened. As I said, I kind of flattened out the root bases on them because there was really nothing there anyhow. So I figured I didn't have much to lose, and I was really giving it less than 50-50 chance, but over time they started. I'm going to take this off because it sort of crosses that other branch, and I just don't think I'm going to use that. Um, but yeah, so it took a long time, right? And that's what I've found as I've gained more experience with ports. Like if you have a large cutting, uh, yeah, the larger it is, the longer it does seem to take it to root, and so you want to be extra careful because you don't want to rot that trunk out. And I was quite careful with these and have them in an extremely uh, easy draining soil, and I give them like full sun. I want the sun to hit these things and get them cooking. And and that seemed to work. I did not lose a single plant in that entire batch, which was absolutely astounding to me and is a testament to how tough these trees are. Um, and so, I basically just waited. I did put them into bonsai pots, and I had them in the winter. I kept them in sort of my chiller area and cold storage, which is about, anywhere from, high 40s to low 60s, depending on the season as we get on the edges of fall and then spring. And yeah, I'm going to keep them warm this season, but yeah, it actually worked. It worked out reasonably well. And I'm actually kind of liking the view, from here. And I really like this trunk here. It sort of has good taper. It kind of comes up and out. I'm not so crazy about this middle section, but I really like how this flows, and it's got good taper, and I've got a lot of segments and branches, and I really feel like that this big one in the middle, which you might select as the new leader, I'm going to take it out. I mean, he who hesitates is lost, and I sort of see this, and it just kind of clutters my eye, and so I'll take that off, and that could potentially be a good cutting. And let's see, yeah. So this might be my front here. I'm gonna do some more adjustments on it, or maybe this is the front. But I feel like um, that really cleaned it up a lot for me. I could sort of see the branch structure, and I'll just come in here and clean up this cut, try to get it nice and flat. And yeah, I think that's a definite improvement, and it gives us kind of some movement down low, and actually gives me a lot more options for the front of the tree. And yeah, I'm really, really happy with that change. All right, after that hefty cut, I get back a little bit to my progression story. So yeah, that was the fall of last year. So they started growing. They were just starting to cook, starting to develop in the fall, and then I had to bring them in. And I wish I would have put them under heat mats or kept them warm, but I didn't. And they kind of struggled through and had some mealy bug attacks, and then made it through the winter. You know, Relatively okay. I wasn't worried about. Well, there was one of them I was worried about dying, which actually I'm not including in this video, but I'll eventually show that to you. Um, and yeah, so they made it through, and I put them outside in spring, and then they really took off this year. So I started feeding them a lot and really taking care of them, and they responded really well. And that, my friends, is how we've gotten to this current state where I feel, it's time to take this set of trees and do some structural pruning and kind of convert them from pre-bonsai onto the bonsai road and kind of move them forward. And I'm really looking forward to next growing season, which I think they'll really take off. And at that point, who knows? Maybe I'll repot them because it will have been a couple years and select some different or better pots. I just kind of put them in whatever I had at the time. And I mean, they're many of them look great, but I think I can really get a much better match along those lines if I spend a bit more time selecting a better pot. So getting back to our structural pruning, I think this was a big plus. I don't think we're quite done yet. This area here is very long, very uninteresting. I mean, it's kind of nice out in the end, and maybe it could be a back branch if I look like this. But I try not to design my trees so that you have to look at them from the front. I just don't care for that, and so um, we have this long straight section out the back, and then there's also this one on the left, which actually has some growth further in, although it's on the wrong side of the branch. But um, yeah, I think I'm going to shorten this because it just doesn't look good. I mean, the trees just don't grow like this. So I'm going to do a Hail Mary cut here, which means there's no leaf or anything here. But I've had pretty good luck with these budding back. And so I think that is just much, much better. It flows better. And I think, when it fills in, it'll be a branch that I can actually use back there. And I think on the left here, maybe this is the future of the tree where I just kind of cut this whole left piece off. But for now, I'm going to let it go because I want this big wound to heal in the back, and that foliage out there will help do that. And who knows, maybe I will decide to keep that. But that is quite charming to me. I feel like that, where I'm covering up with my hand could very well be the future of the tree because it looks good from multiple angles. It's simplified. And, it looks like a tree to me. I apologize for the sound there. It seems like we're having our very own Seattle zombie apocalypse, but it'll be over soon. Um, and so that's pretty much it for today. I think we've really moved this tree forward, and I can't wait to see where it goes next growing season. And as a thought for today, I'm going to say, do your research, right? I acquired these trees and wasn't exactly sure how to care for them. And the internet's just amazing. Like, you know, you can search on portulacaria, Afra, cutting care, and you can find just a ton of information, maybe too much information. But you pull enough details and find some people that actually know what they're talking about and have done it, and there's some great information there. So never underestimate the power of your browser because I mean, especially compared to decades ago, there's just so much incredible, incredible information out there. And with that, I want to thank you for spending time with me, and I look forward to seeing you all again very, very soon.